Today's session is going to discuss online education, understanding the adult learner's experience. Welcome everyone. My name is Professor Sherita H. Smedley. Thank you for taking the time to watch my recording on adult learners and what they go through to attend school. We will look at what the current issue that adult learners experience and how can educators and administration help them through their learning journey. A little about myself. I have been teaching college-level English for about 8 years now and online for 7 years. I have obtained 2 of my 3 degrees online and 1 at a brick-and-mortar college. So the information I share is from research and my own personal experience. So let's get started. The first thing I want to look at is a little bit about background information. Now, online education allows adult learners the convenience to go back to school to further their education. Adult learners have to juggle work, family, and school as they go online for a better education. Exploring their learning needs will allow all faculty and administration a chance to better meet their needs. Now, today, many adults are going back to school and find that taking classes online is the best way. Now, taking classes online requires students to take a chance at managing their time and balancing life as they work toward a degree. Balancing life can be tricky enough, not to mention loneliness and the distance that can be felt through an online class. Many students have said that they do feel the distance and loneliness because they're not in a brick-and-mortar face-to-face classroom like most students are. So, we're going to look at some of the basic questions that I feel could help administration and educators. Number 1, based on research describing the growth of online education, how would administrators and educators benefit from appropriate programs to help online students? 2, what makes an effective online program for adult learners? Now, these are just a few questions to ponder as we dig into a better way to help students. Now, online programs are designed to help students. So we have to make sure that we are helping them along their journey of obtaining a degree, which is the end result. All students want to attain a degree. So let's look at the first issue. Now, adult learners' experiences and retention play a major role in the popularity and growth of online education. Administrators are examining retention due to the fact that 55% of all student dropouts who are attending a 4-year institution drop out before the start of their 2nd year. Now, helping adult learners also helps educators and administration with retention, which is a concern for many online education programs. Now, retention affects many areas of higher education, so helping students really helps educators and administration to perfect their craft and administration to create better online programs. If we have better online programs, students will attend classes. They will not miss, they will not be late on assignments, and they will tell family and friends of the great experiences they had at our university, and then will most likely have more people attend due to word of mouth. Word of mouth and social media now are the best ways to spread the good word about online programs. Now, we've talked about online programs, but let's talk about really what is an online education. Now, definition. What is online education? Allen, Seaman, Sloan, 2011, reported that 65% of all institutions explained how online learning was a significant part of their learning long-term approach. Online education has grown over the years and proven to be a key part of higher education for adults. Now, online education is explained as students taking majority of classes on a computer or another form of electronic device. For my study, the following definitions were used: distance learning / online learning, a method of receiving educational information via the internet instead in a brick-and-mortar college. Now, androgyny, adult students who go back to school to learn new information after the K-12 period. Now, focusing on the adult learner helps to narrow down on better techniques that can help our students. Most students do use laptops, Kindles, now iPhones, and different online gadgets to take classes. That's why now online apps for schools such as Ashford has become very popular with many of my students. They feel that being able to log in on their laptops or their phones gives them more access to attend classes. So the Ashford app is really helping a lot of my students out here. Next, the online education experience. The online experience is becoming more common due to the availability for non-traditional adults who are going back to school so that they can have a chance to excel in a new career. Now, as traditional and non-traditional students become more familiar with online education, there will continue to be a growth in a familiarity of acceptance. With this familiarity, students will demand online education on multiple levels. Now, Hoskins, 2011, explained all levels of higher education, professional development, and K-12 education will push for the accessibility of online education. Education is pushing to the 21st century and trying to evolve as students' experiences continue to require more attention. Gaining more information and understanding of the online student experience will help instructors and administrators better help students. If we can use the traditional and non-traditional students' background information, their experience in life, whether it's work, family, or everyday, that can help them more in the classroom. They feel more a part of the classroom if they can use those experiences and pull them in to different activities, sessions, whatever they might be experiencing. So we want to make sure that we as educators and administrators, we want to use these online experiences. We want the students to feel that they're a part. We want the students to jump in, to communicate amongst themselves without the instructors or professors having to push or nudge the students. So the online experience for these students is becoming very, very important. We want them to use that experience, to not feel like they're wasting or have wasted their past, but that their past in different jobs they might have had or careers they might have had is very important. Now, here's a description of the problem. Now, it is explained that all higher education students will experience online education in some form during their collegiate career. Now, every day there's an increasing number of adult learners who make the leap, as my students say, to online education. Many of these students are trying online classes for the first time and already have fears about being able to connect to their instructor and peers. Now, students want to feel a part of the classroom and that the experience they are going through will be worth it when they eventually graduate and get a job. Now, many of my students have expressed fears because they don't get to see their classmates every day. So as an instructor, I've urged them to email, Skype, FaceTime, any way they feel to reach me or to reach out to fellow classmates, to have someone along the way. Many students have said they met friends along the way in their online programs and have kept connected throughout the course of their online experience. Some even get a chance to meet each other at graduation, which is pretty cool out here through stories. So helping your students to get over the fear of not being able to see their instructor face-to-face every day will allow them to feel more connected in the classroom and to also reach out and connect to their peers, because you want them to make friends even though it's virtually online. I always welcome my students every semester and tell them, welcome to class. They laugh and say, class, professor? I say, yes, this is our virtual classroom. Although you cannot see me every day, I am here, I am available, and I'm ready to help you with anything you need. And also your peers are here, and they're ready and available to also help you with whatever you need. So we can help students get over the fear. Maybe we can cut down on the problem of the online distance. Next, I want to take you into an online classroom, a typical online classroom. English composition, English 121. Now, in many of our English 121 classes, we have discussion posts, essays, sometimes narratives, and quizzes. In English composition, students are asked to perform numerous assignments that they have to turn in on specific timelines. Students have to log in a number of times to make sure that they are able to do the discussion posts, usually 2 posts a week, and quizzes, 1 to 2 quizzes depending on the assignments. Then they are asked to write a narrative or personal essay. These assignments reveal the daily activities of students and sometimes even the struggle they face in staying in school. Now, as educators, there has to be a check and balance system where we can reach out to these students. Understanding the problem will allow for suggestions to come forward. Now, in many of my narratives and personal essays that I've graded, I have seen many life experiences, from giving birth to being deployed in a foreign country for a year, or simply just changing jobs or getting married for the first time. Now, a lot of these experiences may seem like everyday occurrences to most people, but as an instructor, when I read them, I gain a little more information about my students. I feel that I get to know a little bit about them on a personal level. So they don't become a number anymore. They're an actual person. So these narratives and personal essays, I write back to my students to explain to them that they're important, not just an assignment, but as a way for their instructor to get to know a little bit more about them, also for their classmates. Because in the discussion post, they are required to post a paragraph out of their essay. This paragraph, whether it's an introduction, body paragraph, or conclusion, gives their classmates a chance to learn a little bit more about them. So many students enjoy sharing a little bit about themselves. Some are a little fearful, but once we urge them and help them to understand that everybody is required to post something, they are a little more at ease, knowing that, it's just not my personal information that's being put out there, but a classroom of all 20 of my classmates are all posting a paragraph, and we all are sharing a little bit about ourselves. So in the narratives and personal essays, I urge my students to pick something in your life that's either significant or important or that really stuck out, whether it's your first birthday party or you getting married at 25. Whatever that's significant to you, important, something that you could write a whole essay on. So normally my students do pick significant events, birth of a child, a marriage, graduating high school, or going back to school, like for instance with Ashford. They pick that experience, and those are the experiences they write their papers on. Now, these essays, narratives mean so much to these students. Some of them I've read over the years have been outstanding, even for a first rough draft. So many of my students' experiences help them to write essays. So again, I urge faculty and fellow administrators to allow the students to pull on their past experience. It does help them when it comes to writing, and it does help them when it comes to joining inside of the classroom. Next, we have semester evaluations. Now, Webster 2012 explained that educators need to strive to improve the satisfaction levels of students in the classrooms. Learning how to reach these online students will help to improve the evaluation for example, Ashford University, and help the students plan for their semester. Now, one way to help educators and administrators understand students is semester evaluations. Now, many faculty are not fond of semester evaluations, but they are very helpful. Ashford, luckily, we perform semester evaluations every semester to see how the students are enjoying the class and the university. Now, the outcomes assessment model helps to explain the learning goals that are set forth for the life cycle of the course. So in these semester evaluations, I have a chance to see what the student did not like or did like, whether it is something about the format for the class, a book, assignment, or something that they felt I could have done a little more. Critique is not always bad. Critique can be good if it helps for improvement. So semester evaluations do help me to get a chance to see what my students thought of the class, whether they enjoyed the book or enjoyed the assignment, or whether they felt that as an instructor I did a great job and I reached out to them. So semester evaluations at the end of every semester does give us a chance to reevaluate how we taught the semester. Were we reaching out to the student? Did the student feel connected while they were attending Ashford for that semester? So let's give semester evaluations a little bit more credit, okay? Next, let's talk about workshops. Now, having scheduled workshops and learning material for instructors and administrators will help break down the distance that can be created with ongoing online education. Now, what I suggest, and I found in my research, quarterly workshops, which can be viewed later as webinars, and online manuals for reading. Now, having workshops set online for instructors and administrators will help them gain new knowledge and refresh teaching methods. Educators have to realize the new generation of students require growth and updating methods that might have worked for previous students. Now, with a newer generation, every semester we're getting new students. Some of them are traditional, some are non-traditional. So some teaching methods that might work for traditional students might not necessarily work for our non-traditional students. So having webinars, workshops that can educate educators and administrators on new methods that can reach all of our students. Now, granted, some students, they will have personal issues come up, family related, and might just decide that they'll take the class later. That's something we can't help with. Personal life and things do come up from time to time, but if we're educated with different skills, whether it is a quarterly workshop, just advising educators on how to involve students, reach out to students, those different events can help to increase retention, help students stay involved, and to make sure that as educators we're doing our part. So having quarterly workshops, whether it be a webinar or online manuals, emails, is a great way for instructors to stay fresh and abreast of new information that can help our traditional and non-traditional students. So, classes in session. Here's our call to action. Now that we have evaluated the problem and why students are struggling online, it is time to think of the students and learn new ways to make us all better educators. Students spend their last on classes in hopes of getting a better job. So it's up to us to help them along their journey. So as educators, we have to step in and help them along their educational journey to make sure that their money that they're paying for is being well spent. So as I said again, classes in session. So we are in charge to help them along the educational journey. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. At the very end, you will find references. These references are for many of the different sources that I used to cite in my presentation. If you'd like to do further research, of course, please do, and I've enjoyed myself. Thank you again, Professor Sherita Hilton Smedley. Have a great day.